Padma Bhushan, noted Indian designer, screenographer, art curator, and founder of Asian Heritage Foundation, Shri Rajeev Sethi ji.
Pranam. My most reverential salutations to you, the teachers, who are the real makers of New India, and to those making all this possible, Vishwanath ji and his incredible progeny, Rahul Karat ji. For the last 3 years, we have heard the slogan, "Make in India." If we wish not to confine ourselves to Kuli tech, we must first be able to create in India. To create, we need those who walk in truth, speak truth to power, seeking the noble path of teaching. Those who will transmit how the imperceptible becomes perceptible, who will help reveal the creative edge of even an unreceptive mind, who will share the fruit of a lifetime experience compacted in a few words, who refer to knowledge and skill, tradition and its transmission as a spontaneous act of giving. Most particularly those who can lead us to the living divine at the center of all being. Let me tell you a small story, a dialogue between a father and son from the Chandogya Upanishad. The father says, "Bring forth a fruit of the Uagrodha tree. Here it is, Bhagavan. Now split it." "It is split, my Bhagavan." "What do you see?" "Very fine seeds, Bhagavan." "Split one of these. What do you see?" "Nothing at all, Bhagavan." "Soumya, here in this microstructure, invisible to the eye, exists the mighty tree. Believe it, Soumya, inside this microstructure is the soul of all that we see, the existence that is the self, drawing its strength from the root. So to know how a tree contracts into its seed is to know how a seed turns tree. I'm here to help close this 3-day gestation and plowing of the mind. I feel sure that your discourse must have been intense. I also hope it was very emotional and not just intellectual. I believe if there are no emotions, there is no inspiration. In this age of artificial intelligence, there can still be no artificial emotion. Not yet, at least. Believe me, within a decade, AI based on the head will become yesterday's news. As an artist, I feel the next big shift will be the realm of the heart. Big money will push, technologies will strive, even as machines go wild. But I believe, really, if learning today doesn't really move you, it's not education. The famous Persian mystic Jalaluddin Rumi exploited synergy of the mind and the heart, and he explained it. You think because you understand one, you must understand two. Because one and one make two. But you must also understand and. So last week, some of you must have read a national news story from Rajasthan. 12,453 youth were interviewed for only 18 Class 4 posts of a peon. The applicants, including many engineers, lawyers, chartered accountants, MBAs, science graduates, etc. One finally selected included a 10th class pass, son of a local MLA, and therefore the news. The word peon from the Latin pidion means foot soldier. The post is part of our colonial excess baggage, still forming an important adjunct to our administrative system. File ko yahan karo, wahan karo, upar se niche dabao. It's after all a very empowering task. But does the nation need so many peons? If so many have little choice, why spend time and money going through specialized education in high school and colleges? Most significantly, does our pedagogy equip the young to become self-aware and make early choices? This is where I continue to speak for the creative arts. I speak about the incredible amount of traditional knowledge systems that haven't formed a part of the global economy that knowledge societies are making us into. I'm talking about the hundreds and thousands of people spread in every village of the country, whether they be Sthapatis, Sompuras, Maharanas, Vishwakarmas, Prajapats, people with great skills who have not found their way into colleges. They have never been called in to teach. They haven't become part of the curriculum. So how do we change contemporary curriculum, contemporary pedagogy with a curriculum that will respect these traditional knowledge ways? Here, let me just do a little quick census. How many teachers here are actually from an art college or an architectural college? One, architecture or design or something to do with food or something that we call now creative and cultural industry that I will come to. Now, when we create content, when we actually really do something that no one else can give to us, we are not following what the West has done and we become mere coolie tech, doing it while they're sleeping, we work. We really have to create something that belongs to us, that only we can do, and that is recognized as ours. This is where we have to turn to. This is the real India that is still not being put into the mainstream of what we call education. And this is what we have to strive towards. There are many, I had prepared a long speech. Obviously, the time that there is, it would be difficult to go into. I'd put 15 steps that I think would take us there. Would be difficult at this moment to go through. But I do want to be able to bring to you some of the issues that bring us to this point. How do we really create this? Now, the first and foremost, I think, this jigyasa to include, to become more inclusive, will require some understanding of our own systems of aesthetics, of our own understanding of what skills are. If you look at the supreme instrument, we have long palms because we're not like monkeys. We don't have to swing on branches. We are the only Homo sapiens that can do this with our thumb. This gives you an incredible connection with your brain. We are who we are because of what we had. Now imagine if this just became things that we press buttons with. Our minds, this needn't be, this will atrophy, this will change. So we are looking at many people that have evolved with this amazing disciplines that have come with doing things with our hands, with our bodies, that still have to become part of our mainstream pedagogy. For this, we need to understand the whole issue of emotion, Pancha Mahabhuta, the 5 elements that determine our 5 senses, going on further to the 6th sense of intuition. In fact, women are always more intuitive. They may not be educated, they may not be literate, but they are wise. The woman part of us is always more intuitive, is much more connected. I recall Rahul's mother, meeting with her. She's an author, she's a thinker, she's a doer. She puts things together. In fact, I believe a lot of this must have a lot to do with her, although she's not on the dais with us. But I think that this is an important aspect of the feminine in us, the concept of being able to connect to our various senses, to our various elements. And for this, we really need to also include the whole idea of what I call the transcultural education, where, let me relate to you, well, वे कहते थे दस्तकार दरिया काबिलों की उम्र बढ़ जाती है खुद कर लो हिसाब हुनरमंद का एक दिन बेहुनर का एक साल. Now in the same my bell's already ringing, but I'll just say that we need to look at the concept of transdisciplinary education. Again, Vishnu Dharmotra Puran says, if you want to be an architect, you have to be a dancer. If you want to be a dancer, you have to be a musician. A musician has to be a sculptor, and sculptor has to have poetry, and therefore mathematics becomes essential. Where are these courses coming from? They're not even being put into the mainstream at the moment. In this very way, there are several issues that I think that will come in only if we recognize, and that's a policy change. We have to seek our respected minister to be able to help. The whole world accepts the idea of creative and cultural industries. There are at least 40 universities around the world that are dedicated to this concept. We still have not got one that could be called focusing on this. There are 9 ministries that look at this and pull in different directions, but can they be synergy? Can 2 plus 2 really mean 5? That is what we have to strive to. Unless and until it becomes part of policy, I don't think it's going to work out too much more. Now, so I've spoken about empowering traditional knowledge systems. A very simple 5-point talisman I can give you while you're teaching as teachers. See, if your education is making society jobless, is it making it voiceless? Is it disenfranchising them? Is it making it futureless? Please find out about factor 4, factor 10 on ecological footprints. How do you cost for an item? Let your economic schools figure out what actually is the real cost of what we buy off a shelf. What are its carbon footprints? These are issues that are contemporary mathematics, contemporary environment, futureless, ruthless, and rootless. I won't go into the detail. Now, I also believe that it's very important to go slow and steady. धीरे रे मना धीरे सब कुछ होते हैं. माली सींचे 100 घड़े, जब ऋतु होवे तभी फल होता है. तो आप जितना मर्जी कर लीजिए, it is not likely to show results. Fast food, instant degree, this and that. It's not going to happen till things come up to that point, which requires a lot of emotional maturity as well. There is a huge amount to be expected about respecting the anonymous genius of this country. Look at the way we organize the Kumbh. Look at the way we do the Dabba Walas in Bombay. How many management schools have studied that? Look at the way we organize all our fairs and festivals, apart from the Kumbh itself, which are an incredible sense of knowing how things happen. It's maybe jugadu and maybe very studied, but we need to look at it. I also look at tentativity, that, one shouldn't be too sure. You should always remain vulnerable. Still don't know what it is. Sangat is equally important. Bin bedi bahar mat matko. I also believe one must embrace change. We must evolve and remain spiritually centered. Without spirituality, nothing in this whole world could have been achieved. Whether it was big architecture, whether it's a great piece of writing, whether it's a great piece of painting, all this had based on something which was much more profound than what we understand religion to be. Then pehchan, to understand quality. Where are the standards of quality? Where are the people who communicate this quality to all those who still are struggling to find out what is it that I need to live? How do you distinguish need from greed? These are issues again. The very idea of compassion has to come in. When every 25 naya paisa that's going into the exchequer to teach any of the children that we teach, every 1 rupee, 25 naya paisa is coming out from the pockets of the man whose child will not see the inside of a school. So there has to be a huge amount of work that we have to do to give back. And that is going to be the destiny for our generation. I think finally, I want to speak about, from compassion, it's related to celebrate multiple identities. And I think amongst the 5 things that I spoke about, jobless, voiceless, futureless, rootless. The one very important quality that education can give us is to make us fearless. And for that, we really need to celebrate plurality of a kind that we've forgotten. Look at our own neighborhood. I've been working over the last 30 years, and that's what's going to be the remaining part of my life, to see how the South Asian subcontinent, the most beleaguered subcontinent region in the world, where 40% of the world's poorest live, and yet we have the largest expenditure on military. What do we need to do to be able to reach out? It's, after all, common civilizational memory. We have this common cultural currency, and yet we invest so much in the industry of hate. Now, for this, we've been doing some work on what we call Sasian journey, South Asian journey, in the neighborhood. If we're not able to create a peaceful coexistence, we are not going to be able to talk about it in the world at large. So therefore, I have this very easy slogan that I give to all my young people who work with me and wherever I go, and I'd like you to participate in this. It's very simple. It's something you have to do. First, say diversity, connectivity, empowerment, peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was Padma Bhushan, Shri Rajeev Sethi ji. Thank you very much for your views and 5-step mantra that you have given us. Extremely important for academic institutions like us. Thank you very much.